everything started becoming simplified and everything started becoming so basic that I was just left hungry and thinking after the meetings, like, we didn't go over anything.
Pros outweighed the cons.
We were like, well, damn.
Considerably.
We're pro kid.
We're pro kid.
Let's think about this.
Yeah. And I looked at it and I said, I knew something was wrong because I looked at your face and I was like, something's wrong. I said, what's wrong?
In that moment, I said, Bre, I don't think that this is the truth anymore. And you shot up out of bed and you said, okay, so what do we do now?
This is Bre.
This is Yannick.
And welcome to the Rook at Us Now podcast.
And they said it wouldn't last.
Episode 10. Oh my gosh. This is the season finale for season 1.
Yeah.
It is Sabrina the Savior, part 1.
Sabrina the Savior. Yeah. And so just huge thanks to everybody who's been part of this with us. It's been a wild ride. And we thank you for your support, for listening. And we're really excited to get into this.
This is a hard episode, guys. I mean, I feel like every episode has been pretty challenging, but this is kind of the climax to the season. And it's very emotional for us. So be patient with us, please.
Please do be gentle.
But we're really excited to have you guys. And we want to give a special welcome to those that are new here, that are curious as to why we left the cult, because that's pretty much the theme of this episode. And I know you guys have been waiting for this, for those that have been watching. So we're very excited, but also very nervous. And our hearts, I want this episode to be optimistic, but it is kind of heavy. And I guess that's just a warning for you.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're trying to be light on our feet, but you know, these things just happen and they affected us deeply, and it is very painful.
It's very painful, and it's very recent too.
Yeah.
2 years?
Yeah, 2 years ago, and still going through it.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get started. So we left off in last episode talking about our journey to California and how we ended up finding our community finally in the Jehovah's Witness religion, because we were still very much deeply involved. Our goals as a couple had changed slightly because we wanted to no longer pursue going to Bethel, which is the compound in which Jehovah's Witnesses have. They have a couple compounds across.
Yeah, but that's the main headquarters in New York.
Headquarters in New York. There you go. That was no longer our goal anymore together, because if you've heard previous episodes, you guys know that. If not,
things have progressed. Series of events occurred.
Yes. We no longer wanted to become
SKE graduates,
which is School for Kingdom Evangelizers. For those that don't know, it's a special school that Jehovah's Witnesses have, and you're sent out on missionary work. So those were no longer part of our goals. Also, up until this point, this has been 6 years into our marriage, just so you guys have a timeline. We had not wanted children because none of those goals that we had, you couldn't have children.
Yeah, it was not conducive. It was not something that, if you had children, it would distract you and take you away from being able to reach those goals. You couldn't have a kid in Bethel. You couldn't have a kid and go to SKE
to do missionary work. Officially, I guess you could say. No, but yeah, it just wasn't conducive, and that's not a goal that we had. We talked about it. We were like, we don't want children, and so we did things to prevent, and it just never crossed our minds because those were our goals in the beginning of our marriage up until year 6. We made it our new goal, I guess, is to just be a really good, what we would call, and what
like a pillar in the congregation. Like we wanted to feel
terminology.
Part of a community.
And
maybe COVID kind of made us feel like that. Like, hey, let's give this a shot.
Yeah, like let's slow down, take life at a little bit slower of a pace, because we were really trying to do all these things. Our ultimate goal was to be steady in our congregation, so to maintain our spirituality that way, and to be able to just, be pillars in the congregation.
Yeah,
that, like you said.
Yeah, so somebody to be counted on, and somebody that we want to be part of a community, really. Like that was a big thing. We wanted to I think when we started having more friends in California, we started realizing that this is somewhere that we wanted to be. We didn't want to just have a goal and leave. We wanted to enjoy
the friends and the community that we built within the Jehovah's Witness religion. And I want to emphasize that, because it was all within Jehovah's Witnesses. And it was so beautiful. It really was. It was a wonderful thing that we got to do. And it made us feel so secure in our relationship as a couple. It made
Yeah.
us feel secure as people because we were like, we're thriving here. We
Yeah.
had great friends. We had a spiritual need that
Routine
was,
and
yeah, routine and need that was filled.
Yeah.
And it just, everything felt so wonderful. And then my career was taking off when it came to social media, but I was able to put it in its place because it was work at that point. It really
Mhm.
didn't cross over into my personal life as much. And you had your job that was doing really well.
Yeah.
We were renovating a home together, and just things were looking up and up for the first time for us in our relationship. And that, I think, made us want children.
We're like, things are good.
Mm-hmm.
We felt so much love that we wanted to share that love. I think we mentioned that
Aww.
before, that we wanted to share that love with another little human.
Yeah,
And
it was time.
It felt right.
Before we officially started to conceive, we wanted to do a couple things before we had baby because we just got out of COVID
Mhm.
and we had some travel stuff on the list. We finally had money.
Yeah.
Like we could actually do things
We
because
had that itch. We wanted to see the world.
the world. Yeah. So we set out and we traveled the world together. We did so, like, we were crazy.
We blitzed the travel.
Not so.
Yeah.
Like every single month, like
Yeah.
everything, like it was a really, really fun time.
Yeah.
But we were also noticing that on each trip, we were like, this is a nice place and this is a nice
Yeah.
place. And
This
this
is
is
a
a
really cool
nice
thing
dinner.
to do. This was
Yeah.
The food here is great. The drinks here is great, but was it kind of like the other place? I don't like.
I
Kind of
know.
start blending together
It
a little
started
bit.
blending together.
Yeah.
And it was a good thing though, because we were like, okay, we're definitely ready for this. Because we also were like debating. We're like, do we really just want to like be, a couple now that we, can travel together? Like maybe we'll just stay in this. But
Yeah.
it just started getting, I wouldn't say dull. I think it just started becoming like we're ready for the next
Yeah.
phase of our life and we're ready for a new adventure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I think the catalyst for us wanting to start trying was when we were in Maui. We were at dinner and we did a pros and cons list, which is very us coded
It's
because
so
this is what
us-coded.
we've always done, even for getting our dog, like
Yeah.
Theo.
We did it on the receipt of the humu humu. Wait, what's the
Huma Huma Nuka Nuka
Yeah.
in Maui.
Yeah, in Maui.
Yeah. So we did
Mhm.
that. Pros outweighed the cons
We were like, well, damn.
considerably.
We're pro kid.
We're
Like,
pro kid.
Let's think about this.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we sat on the beach in Maui and at night and we saw like a couple shooting stars as we were
Yeah.
talking about it. And we were like, oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
this seems like a sign.
The gods have spoken.
We need to have children. So that was a crazy
Yeah.
realization for us, I think, as a couple, because
Mhm.
we had not wanted children for so long.
Yeah.
And finally all of a sudden it became like a fever. It was
Yeah.
like,
Like that whole year we started talking more and more like,
More and
oh,
more.
well, like wouldn't it be interesting to like if we were parents, and then like, it started happening more and more frequently until finally the culmination was Maui sitting on that beach and we're like, yeah,
Mhm.
we're gonna have
we're gonna
kids.
have kids.
Yeah.
And so boop bop bam.
Boop bop bam.
We got pregnant.
We fell into parenthood.
We fell pregnant.
Strategic falling.
It happened very quickly. It happened very quickly for us, and we were very lucky in that sense.
Mm.
We didn't expect it to happen so quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It was like, you sex? You pregnant? Like,
Yeah.
no.
Well, I mean,
That's a
it's
weird way to say
you
it.
sex, you pregnant. That's hilarious. No, but I mean, Bre, in full Bre fashion, full assing everything. She started tracking her ovulation and like having like all these cute little ovulation outfits, and
Oh my
it's
God.
like,
We're going to talk about that.
This is my egg day lingerie, and so it's like, okay, yeah, it definitely happened.
I
We
pressured
definitely
this man.
had a child right on time, right when we.
No, it was science.
Yeah,
it was like
it was very
science. It was,
science-based.
I wish that we did it more like
Yeah.
how we did the second.
Yeah, the first time though, like the pressure of that,
It was
like,
so,
this is
like,
egg day, and I was
egg
like,
day.
oh,
Like, this is our time.
is this supposed to be a chore?
And
Like,
it shouldn't have been, because like it wasn't that we had
Yeah.
any fertility issues or anything. It just, I'm a crazy person, guys. If you haven't already figured out, I'm crazy. But okay, yeah. So we fell pregnant, but
we fell pregnant. I fell into you, and you became pregnant.
the innuendos are intense. You're strong with this one.
Strong with it.
So after falling pregnant, something started creeping in to our minds.
Yep.
Gosh, this is hard. After COVID, I really felt a change in the Jehovah's Witness culture as a whole.
Hmm.
And we talked about it a lot, but it wasn't something that was like, oh, what's wrong with this? It was just like, we were realizing things. We were
Yeah.
just like, huh.
This is different. This is
Yeah,
odd.
this
Does this
feels.
seem odd to you?
Mhm.
Like, I don't know. Does anybody else notice this? Like,
It wasn't odd yet. It was more or less like,
different.
it was just different.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were like noticing things like people just seem sad. But then we
Yeah.
also blame that on like the whole world
Yeah,
seemed
COVID.
sad after
Yeah. It's
COVID.
like,
It was
oh,
really
yeah.
hard. But like the things that we both were noticing was it felt like the meetings changed in the sense where it was less optimism, but more doomsday. And I don't know if that's because we changed as people and we were
Hmm.
just noticing it or it had changed.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I hated going into the meetings and listening to talks and publications and videos and everything. And I would go there and it would just feel so sad. Like it was always start of a lot of talks would be like, the
Hmm.
world is so bad. Everything is so terrible.
Yeah.
We need the new world. And, this is falling apart. We're not safe here. And I guess because being pregnant and like I had that optimism for life and I was like, well,
Yeah.
yes,
We were
but
optimistic enough to fall pregnant. And also
yeah,
after COVID, we were so tired of
tired of
feeling like junk about everything.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
we wanted something
doom and
good.
gloom.
Yeah.
And I felt like I used to years ago go to the meeting and feel refreshed and like I'd have a bad day and I would go to the Kingdom Hall and I would sit in the meeting and I'd be like, wow, this is good. Like I
Yeah.
feel good, like I feel hopeful, but it was starting to not feel like that anymore. And that was after COVID but put that on the back shelf. I didn't really think about it much. It
Hmm.
was just like a
It's
little
just
thing.
there. Yeah.
And we talk about it. I was like, this it's kind of weird. It's like doom and gloom now. That's sad. Anyway, so another thing that kept bugging me, and I remember us talking about it even more when we got pregnant, was the change of the songs.
Yeah.
Jehovah's Witnesses have hymns.
Hmm.
And I love singing. I love singing. And that was a big part of my worship
Yeah.
because I was so connected to the songs. I would memorize them. I would sing them on my own. Like I just loved the hymns that they had. And you would sing at every single meeting about 2 to 3 or 4 times. I forget now, but
Yeah, it was three songs every
3
single meeting,
songs.
and that's one of the things that I loved about you because I was more intellectual based. I wasn't so much like the singing, emotional connection based. But when I married you and I saw how much singing meant to you,
Mm.
and how important, how integral that was to your worship,
Mm.
that touched me, and I started singing louder and like trying to help the congregation sing louder, like sitting in
Yeah.
the front and really like trying to make it happen. And
Oh.
that felt like seeing you sing, seeing how important that was. It made me realize that this is something beautiful. This is something important, and I wanted to make it important to me. And so then I started noticing the same changes that you were noticing
Yeah,
after
I would
COVID.
be singing, and we had progressed at this point, which I had no problem with. But you used to have like a song book where you had the lyrics of the songs in a song book, a physical book, and then it changed to where you had digital copies, so you could look up on your phone and have a digital copy of the song book. And then it progressed to the point where you didn't even need a song book, you didn't need it even on your phone. You could just look at the TV screens that are in the
Yeah,
Kingdom
there'd be
Hall, the
two big
church,
screens on
and they
each
would
side of the
play
platform.
the lyrics and you would sing them. And I wasn't taken by that, but what it was that some of my favorite songs that I loved to sing that were so close to my heart. I know one that was really close to my great grandmother who had passed, and I remember singing the song, and I was singing it one day at the meeting, and I noticed that half the words had changed, and I was like,
It's like
yeah, yeah.
why did these
That
get
was the thing,
changed?
because they would do that. They would change. It wasn't abnormal that they would change the words in the songs because they always would claim that this was better in accuracy to the Bible or whatever. So we're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But then they stopped telling us that they would change things.
Yeah.
And
And they would
that's when I
just
started
change
having an
things.
issue. I was like, wait, they changed another song? Like, I
And you
know
wouldn't
this.
know until it
You
would
wouldn't
be up
know.
on screen and
And if you didn't memorize it, you really didn't know.
that's exactly because on my end, I remember going through publications and all of a sudden prophecies and publications on the electronic form, they had been updated and changed. History changed. And I'm like, didn't they used to say this? And all these
It
things
makes
would
you
be
feel like you're crazy.
yeah. And I'm like, this is I mean, and I would try to say, oh well, they have to keep up with new light, and
Keep
they
up
have
with the
to,
chariot, and
yeah,
and we didn't want to get down on it about it because we were just like, well, they have their reasons,
yeah,
but the biggest thing that like irritated me was that they wouldn't tell us why. And I just felt strange sitting in the Kingdom Hall and looking at a song that I loved, multiple songs that I loved, and then being completely changed, not in meaning, but just slight words that
yeah,
kind of took to me, it took out the soul of a
hmm,
lot of the songs.
yeah.
And
You almost feel like your history was being erased without
yeah,
your consent.
consent. And it
Yeah,
was just like, wait, like I held this so dear. But then I was like, okay, well, I just need to get out of that. I need to keep moving because they always say that, like, if you have a problem with their changes, then that means that you're not moving along with the organization. You're not moving with the chariot,
yeah.
so to speak. And
But you need to
you need to get
get
out of
get to
that. So I
galloping.
was like, okay, I won't think about that anymore. But it was noted. I think the biggest thing about the coming of Sabrina, our daughter, as we were pregnant, it gave us a different viewpoint completely on the religion itself. It
Hmm.
made us start thinking about things, not just putting it on the back shelf, but actually staring it in the face and trying to figure out what to do with it.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah. Because now, well, we started thinking to ourselves, with this new little human who will be a blank slate, what will we teach her?
Mm,
And if we're thinking, what will we teach her? I know on my end, I started as we started kind of traveling, and as I was like reading and having some time to really expand my scope of reference during COVID, I started thinking, well, there are a lot of really simple black and white answers with Jehovah's Witnesses,
mhm.
but it seems to me like life is so much more complex. Like it's a whirl of mankind struggling and succeeding and failing and this and that. In effect, I was realizing that Jehovah's Witnesses paint a picture of very simple uh black and white answers,
Mhm.
but if the world is actually that much more complex, how can I teach my child the complexity that is the truth? It felt like I was
You
being,
realize the world was a lot bigger.
that's what it was.
I get what you're saying about like the world, and it kind of broadened your worldview traveling. And I remember something very specific where we realized that we were in need of spiritual substance, because I remember you were saying that I noticed the doom and gloom of the meetings, and you started noticing the
Like the infantilization.
yeah.
I think that was really, that really hurt, because I really enjoyed the intellectualism of it. Like
Mm-hmm.
you were a lot more of the feelings based, but I really like the how intellectual things seemed. But then once the simplified Watchtower became the norm, which was a
Mm-hmm.
very simplified study version that we would start going through during the meetings,
Every Sunday.
everything started becoming simplified and everything started becoming so basic that I was just left hungry and thinking after the meetings, like, we didn't go over anything.
Yeah.
These are publications that you teach small children. Like, why am I
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
What am I doing?
It started becoming very repetitive,
Yeah.
and just it lacks substance.
Yeah. We were starving for substance.
Yeah. And I think that when we traveled to Spain and you forced me to go to the Familia Sagrada,
Yeah.
and that
Over in Barcelona. Yeah.
in Barcelona, yeah, Jehovah's Witnesses, they believe they're the only true religion on earth, and any other religion is considered false religion, aka controlled by Satan. So any kind of church, I was terrified to go into a church. I was terrified to go to any other place of worship that was not Jehovah's
Yeah.
Witnesses, because I felt that I was going into Satan's lair,
Hmm. Yeah.
so to speak. Really, truly, though.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. So when you were like, I want to go to this church, I was like, why? Like, I
For
don't
the
want to go
history
there.
of it,
I
I
don't want to
was I
go
was
there.
so into the history of it, and also Gaudi, is an architect I really like, and I really wanted to see it
You
for
wanted to see
purely
it.
secular reasons. And I know it was like kind of, should he be
Conscious
doing that? It
matter.
was kind of a conscience matter, but I was like, maybe just don't tell anyone, because like
Yeah.
I think it would
We're
be
not going to
really
post
cool to
about it.
see the architecture of this cathedral. And
And we did. And I'm
yeah,
glad we did, because I saw what could be.
yeah, what a place of worship feels like when it it evokes feelings of striving for the divine.
Yeah.
Like
A true
it,
spiritual experience just in a building.
yeah. We sat there after the tour. We sat there in the pews,
Yeah.
and with the light coming through the stained glass windows, and I was like, this is I shouldn't feel like this in here because
You're like,
this.
I feel jealous. See, that's what you
Yeah,
said.
yeah. I was so jealous because I was like, if we're the one true religion, why don't we have anything like this?
Yeah.
Like, what? Why is Bethel not like this?
Yeah.
Why is it like a bunch of corporate boxes? I want this. My soul yearns for this.
Yeah.
Why can't we get it?
The beauty that was a stunning place. And I'm glad we went, even though I felt like it was totally pagan and bad. And I was shaking in my boots as we were walking through. So I
Yeah,
was like, oh.
yeah,
But it was good because it, again, opened our mind in that sense too. We were like, wait a second, like we're the only true religion. Why have we never felt this way going into a place of worship for Jehovah?
yeah. The contrast started happening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so all of that was spurred by us having Sabrina. The
yeah.
existence of Sabrina spurred all of these questions
hmm
in a more deeper way to where we had to face them. Because
Yeah.
before
We put
we'd
it on the
have
back
questions and
burner.
we just
Yeah,
put
it
it in
was.
the back shelf and just continue with our life and be like, we'd give an excuse for everything. But we knew that we had to face it because our daughter was coming into the world and what were we going to teach her? What were
Yeah.
we going to do for her? So at this point, because we knew that we were having these questions, we were nervous. And of
Mhm.
course, we started doing what the organization teaches you to do, which is one, pray. So we were praying incessantly. We were praying for Jehovah to take this away from us, for God to help us to not feel these doubts. And I remember crying in prayer, almost like how I cried in prayer before I met you, to meet the one. I was crying in prayer, begging him to take this away from me because I hated feeling like that. I hated
Yeah.
feeling these questions and I didn't want them. This was questioning my entire belief system, my entire identity as a person, and I wanted it away. I
Yeah.
didn't want to think about these
It's
things.
terrifying
Yes.
to consider that your entire belief system, like you don't even want to look at the
No,
possibility that it
it's
could
so
crumble.
terrifying.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we just prayed and prayed and we let it go for months and we didn't talk to anybody about it except for the elders. We started talking to elders because that's another form of
Direction.
direction that
Mhm.
they give you. So we started talking to our elders and they would read us scriptures and we were very nonchalant about it. We weren't very like, this is not
Yeah, we're like,
the religion we want to be in. We just had
yeah.
questions. We were like, what can you explain this for us? We really are kind of, we're stuck on this.
Yeah, we're stumped on
We're
this. Yeah.
stumped. Can you share with us some scriptures to help encourage us? We thought we were spiritually weak.
Yeah.
We thought we were, something was wrong with us
Mhm.
and we wanted help to how to fix it. And they didn't know anything.
Yeah, that was
Bless,
a
bless.
big letdown. Yeah.
They didn't know how to help us, which I also was like, well, if this is God's direction, why isn't this working either?
Yeah.
And then so we talked to elders in our congregation in California, and we also talked to elders in our previous congregations
Mhm.
in North Carolina because we thought that maybe we had more of a personal connection. Maybe we could, figure something out there. But it was so interesting how we were met with like a bureaucratic like way about it.
Yeah, like
I don't know.
it was very like with all things, it was very legalistic.
That's what it was. Thank you. Very legalistic.
Okay.
And that was very frustrating because we were coming to them like, please help us. And like, it was like, oh, this is the protocol, this. And so the questions like, that question, they were like, so do you think that this is the true religion? We're like, yes. And then they would ask us, so do you
believe in the direction of
the governing body? It was like, there were actual
they're
questions.
programmed questions. Yeah.
And each elder body
Yep.
had to ask it. And I was like, this is crazy. And we would say like, yes, absolutely. Of course we believe in this. Like, absolutely. Like, yeah. And we were like, that's so weird.
Yeah.
We kept going. And I think that it was very frustrating not coming to a solution with our answers. And with Sabrina coming Earthside, well, soon to be Earthside, we were really starting to get stressed, I think, because we were like, okay, so what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
And we had no inkling at this point of leaving
Yeah.
at
It was
all.
just what are we going to teach our child? Because
Yeah.
I'm so curious about these things that I can't ignore them anymore. I have to
Mm-hmm.
understand them,
Mm-hmm.
especially if I'm going to teach my child. Because it's not teaching
A Bible
somebody, yeah, a Bible
study,
study.
a
It's
stranger.
Yeah, it's teaching your child who will have questions for you all day, every day.
Yeah,
What am I going to tell her?
exactly. And so I think the catalyst of it all was that meeting that we went to, that Sunday meeting.
Yeah.
And the talk that they gave was about
Daniel's prophecy,
Daniel's prophecy,
the massive statue of Daniel's
image of
prophecy.
Daniel.
Hmm.
And I just remember your face the entire meeting, because we had gone to the meetings. Obviously we'd stayed going to meetings all during this time, but this one was different because your position of your body had completely like changed. I could just notice, felt this energy that you were just not having it. And you
Yeah.
wrote on your little pad, and you were like, I can't believe this. And I was like, okay.
I was so sad. I was honestly like, it was very heartbreaking to me that, because I love history so much,
Yeah.
that this brother who was giving the talk on the platform, what he was saying now, understanding some things and having a much broader perspective, I was like, but that's wrong. How can he say that? That's not accurate. And I couldn't even say that he was lying. I was just saying, that's not true.
Yeah.
And I was,
And you knew the outline of this talk because
Yeah.
you've given this talk.
yeah. And so it wasn't that brother was just going out on his own and saying things that were crazy or whatever. He was following the outline. I knew the outline.
And the outline comes
Yeah,
from
the outline comes from the governing body. It
Mhm.
comes down. You have to say exactly, what is on the outline to give this talk, and he was being accurate to the outline. But now with the newfound understanding of things, I just thought to myself, this is not right. This is not right,
Mhm.
and I feel sick to my stomach.
I just remember riding home that day, you were just so depressed. You were just like, you seem heavy, and I didn't really know. I just knew that you are super big into history, and there were things that were said that were not historically accurate, and you were trying to find answers. And I remember you going home and like looking through the Watchtower
Mhm.
website and like going through all these different articles, and you were trying to like
Yeah.
you were in it, and you were trying to like make sense of this, make sense of that, because the prophecy, the discourse that he was talking about was pretty much foretelling of the future, foretelling of what's going to happen in our day, how past historical events and how they kind of lead up to our day and what we can expect for the future.
Yeah.
And so that's a heavy conversation, a heavy topic, especially when you're dealing with Bible prophecies. And I think that was the biggest thing that messed with you, because you saw the inaccuracies just from history, and you're like, if they're inaccurate about this history,
What else?
what else they're inaccurate
Yeah.
about?
What else is being kind of smudged over? Yeah.
Yeah,
it was-
and how can we trust in that
yeah.
for the future for us?
Yeah. That night, I was going through trying to understand, trying to make sense of all these feelings that I was feeling. Everything was coming to a head, and I first started going through the Watchtower publications, of course, and then I got to where I was like, I can't be the only person who feels this way. And I was on my phone in bed, which I never do, but I started going down a rabbit hole where my hands were shaking. My heart started beating because I said, I'm going to look at what people who used to be Jehovah's Witnesses say, because that seems to be the only recourse left. And I went into a Reddit for XJWs. And I expected, based on my previous everything that I was told, I was expecting to see a stew of hate and apostasy and people who just were tired of the rules and wanted to live their lives and wanted to do drugs and have sex and this and that. It's not what I found at all. What I found were people who were hurt, people who were trying to find answers, people who were discarded, people who were just trying to live quiet lives and serve God. And I went through that, went down the rabbit hole further and further and further, more and more into it, until it wasn't that changed everything. It's that it allowed me to finally look into the abyss for what it was. I finally looked into the abyss until the abyss looked back at me. I'd been refusing to do that for so long. And when I finally looked at it with an honest heart, I knew.
And I looked over at you because pregnant, not able to sleep. I was just tossing and turning, and I just look over and I see your face staring at your phone, which again, you never did that kind of stuff. So I was like, what is he doing?
Yeah. And
I
at
just
this point,
see
it was
your
like 3
face.
in the morning.
Yeah. And I knew something was wrong because I looked at your face and I was like, something's wrong.
Yeah.
I said, what's wrong?
In that moment, I said, Bre, I don't think that this is the truth anymore. And you shot up out of bed and you said, okay, so what do we do now?
And that's it for this episode. Part 1, Sabrina the Savior. Tune into part 2 to find out what happens next. Thank you guys so much for watching. And oh my God, I'm already starting to get emotional. I don't know how we're going to do part 2. Thank you guys for this while. Thank you for your patience with us. And
please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to leave a comment. We're so grateful to have this community where we've been able to share our experience, and we know that so many people have had similar experiences, and so many people have been deeply hurt or need to connect with others who are recovering from the trauma of waking up to the destruction of your fundamental beliefs. So please feel free to comment. We love hearing your comments. We love reading your comments, and we appreciate every single one.
Yeah.
Look at us.
Who would have thought?
Not me.
XOXO. Okay.